Signature moves have been around in Pokémon for a very long time now, and are in some cases a defining part of a Pokémon's kit and viability, while others are just outright bad and should not even be considered using. Signature moves are a cool addition to give every Pokémon something unique and special that separates them from similar Pokémon. However, some signature moves have shown to really push a Pokémon over the edge, and this trend has been especially very common with the release of Generation 9, and even more so with the added compatibility of the Hisuian Pokémon from Pokémon Legends Arceus. Some new signature moves are balanced for sure, but it cannot be ignored that there are a lot of signature moves in Generation 9 that either push an otherwise balanced Pokémon over the edge in competitive, or literally make an otherwise mediocre Pokémon a top tier pick. This situation has a lot of players asking for the bans of set moves and not the Pokémon itself, but unfortunately it's not as simple as that. So what is really the problem with signature moves in Generation 9? Well, I'm all for interesting new signature moves. It cannot be ignored that a lot of these moves really push a lot of Pokémon over the edge. This first example was very clear with the first quick ban that happened about 48 hours after the release of Generation 9, this being Houndstone. Fluttermane was banned too, but the focus is really on Houndstone here. Houndstone is a pretty mediocre Pokémon at best, but its signature move is what really made this Pokémon ban worthy so fast, giving it a record for one of the fastest quick ban in histories. Its signature move Last Respects could go up to a base power of 300 without any drawbacks, except the whole team needed to be dead. But is that really a drawback? As there were literally teams that used 4 Memento users to power up Houndstone as quickly as possible. Slap on a choice band and outside of normal types there were absolutely no Pokémon that could take Last Respects, not even resisting ones at that. While it is true that Sandrush played some part in this as well, doubling Houndstone's otherwise bad speed stat, the power of the signature move is truly what broke this Pokémon. Houndstone was banned for about 7 months and only got unbanned because Last Respects got banned due to Basculegion being introduced, and now Houndstone sees literally no usage at all. This is not the only case. Just look at other Pokémon that were banned early on because of their signature moves. A big part of Palafin's ban was its Suggest Punch, which is a priority move that is way stronger than other priority moves. Normally priority moves are balanced out by a low base power of 40, or there are other cases like Extreme Speed with a base power of 80, but it cannot hit anything for super effective damage, or even First Impression having 90 base power, but it can only be used the first turn the user enters the field. The only thing coming close to the power of Jet Punch is Scissor's Technician boosted Bullet Punch, but Water is a way better offensive typing than Steel 2. I'm not saying that Palafin would be a balanced Pokémon without Jet Punch, but it played a big part in its dominance when it was allowed. Then you have a Pokémon like Annihilate, which would probably not even be in the OU tier if it wasn't for its signature move Rage Fist, powering up every time it gets hit to a maximum of 300 base power. Don't forget about Shadtail, which resulted in Cyclozar getting quick ban and eventually Earthworm getting a potential ban, leading to the move getting banned instead of both Cyclozar and Earthworm. And without this move, both Cyclozar and Earthworm have fallen down a lot in usage and are not really used in the metagame at all. This really shows the power a single move can have on a Pokémon's viability. This is not the only case where signature moves play a big part in a Pokémon's viability. A big part of Garganacl's kit is its signature move Salt Cure, making it very hard to deal with defensively unless you are using Covert Cloak, and this Pokémon even was discussed for a potential ban too. Without Salt Cure, Garganacl would not be able to nearly exert as much offensive pressure. Let's not forget about Cinderace and its 2 signature moves Spiral Ball and Core Change. While I'm not saying that these are broken moves, it cannot be ignored how vital these are for Cinderace's viability. Core Change shook up the whole meta when Cinderace first returned, and Walking Wake's Hydro Steam should also get a mention as it almost got it banned too due to its sheer power on Sun teams and even Rain teams. A big part in the bans of both Urshifu forms are their signature moves Wicked Blow and Surging Strikes. This move really pushes them over the edge, whereas otherwise they might have a shot at staying in the tier. Let's talk about the most controversial signature moves in the metagame right now. Dire Claw and Ceaseless Edge. 2 of the newest additions for Pokémon Legends Arceus, Sneasler and Hisuian Emerald have been top tier since their release, and it cannot be ignored how much their signature moves have played a part. Direct Claw is the most controversial move in the metagame right now, so much so that Sneasler was wanted for a potential quick ban and many players asking for a ban of the move itself rather than the Pokemon. Direct Claw is the most uncompetitive move in the metagame right now, there is no question about it. There is no skill involved and is literally just fishing for a potential sleep to win a game you should not be able to win. Aside from steel types, there is no counterplay to this move. Next up, Ceaseless Edge. This move is solely responsible for Hisuian Pokémon ending up in the top 5 of usage in the past month. A spammable move that puts down spikes in the process offers so much utility it's actually unreal. This move might have been less of an issue if it wasn't for Sharpness boosting this move's power by 50%, meaning that Hisuian Pokémon is not only getting up spikes but dealing massive damage as well. Not to mention that this move totally ignores Magic Bounce and Taunt and can be used with an Assault Vest. I haven't even talked about the starter Pokemon yet. Well, at this point of making this video they have all dropped down in usage significantly, dropping down to the UU tier. Meowscarter was a top 10 Pokemon before Pokemon Home, and a big part of that was his move Flower Trick. The same goes for Skeledurge's Torch Song and Quaquaval's Aqua Step. Without these moves, these Pokemon would be significantly worse and maybe not even viable. These moves are mandatory when using this Pokemon. There could be an argument made for Meowscarada, but there is only one Nichette that does not use Flower Trick. This could even be argued for Pokemon like Heatran and Volcanion, especially Heatran, which relies on Magma Storm to trap and beat Pokemon it should not be able to. Just imagine if it didn't have that move. Then you have Pokemon who have an incredible signature move but are very bad themselves. A great example this being Cleaver's Stone Axe, which looked very promising before it was released, but it goes to show that no matter how strong the move is, it cannot make up for a bad Pokemon. While I have pretty much listed every broken signature move that is heavily carrying the viability of a Pokemon, there are some signature moves that I think are actually balanced and are a nice addition to already good Pokemon, rather than over-centralizing for that Pokemon themselves. Two examples of these being Kingambit's Kowtow Cleave and Golden Ghost Make It Rain. While these Pokemon would for sure be worse without them, they wouldn't become unviable as a result. Have you noticed that the vast majority of these moves are all introduced in Generation 9? It is no secret that Generation 9 introduced insane power creep into the game. This is not only limited to new Pokemon, but new signature moves as well. This does bring up some concerns from the future, especially with the new DLC releasing soon, and I will guarantee you that those new legendary Pokemon will have a strong signature move as well, if the past is anything to relate to, with Urshifu getting both Surging Strikes and Wicked Blow in the first DLC. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Pokemon signature move problem, and check out my video on the screen right now. Thank you for watching and see you next time.